So, you know those things that you usually see online, like those pictures where it's like, oh, ladies, you have $5 to build your ideal man. Then they give you a bunch of options, or they say you have $10. And usually you find people having to select a couple of different qualities. I don't know. Like with the babe of today, it's almost an impossibility because nowadays they want everything. They want the guy who's good looking, funny, wealthy, no kids, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of it, you find that whatever it is that they want has exceeded the cost, but it's like they don't care, they still want it. And I've always found this to be a little bit odd.
And we want to welcome all y'all to Fan of a Fan, and this is strictly only for the fans.
Because, like, just take for example this one here that I have with me, where it's like, ladies, you have $5 to build your ideal man. And on the list, it's like, good looking is $3, funny is one, smart is one, great in bed is $2, faithful is $3, wealthy is $3, no kids is $1, being tall is $1, great body is $2, and being romantic is $2. Now, the interesting thing is, with the kind of babes that we have today, they'll probably go and select everything. And on top of all that, they'll expect their boyfriend to pay whatever it is that's there. So these babes will still be left with that $5. Because clearly, it seems like some people just do not know how to take up, a couple of things and compromise on others, which I think should be something that we should endeavor to do this year, especially considering that people have had to compromise on like everything. But, anyways, in as much as I would love to continue talking about this, I have a babe on the other line. And if I continue talking, it'll force her to kind of come out swinging. And I'm not ready for that. And I don't want to sound like I'm, unhospitable towards women on the podcast. So I might as well start. So, in typical fashion, welcome to Breaktime on West Side, your number one breaktime podcast, coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya. The man on the mic is a man who knows how to build the ideal person with just $5 or $10. He is a man whose sickness for the thickness prevents him from skinny dipping. It is none other than your tall, dark, and mildly handsome man, Sir Denver B. The show is Fan of a Fan, the show where I usually just, decide to take a break from being the only one talking and have someone else come on to the show, and we get to discuss many, many interesting matters. Now, the guest that I have with me today is a fellow podcaster. She seems to have a thing for talking about things on a deeper level, but for some reason, it's always about stuff that actually affects us in the day to day. From the podcast On the Lookout, I have Shapiru.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for this. I have really waited to have this chance to give my opinions on some things you talk about because
What?
should I say it? Sometimes
But I thought I say things properly.
yes, you say things properly, but I don't always agree with everything you say.
Such as?
Some remarks about, do you want me to go there? Do you really want me to go there?
Go there. Go there.
Do I go there?
You know what? I have a second or two. So, yes, I have a minute or two to allow you to go there. Go there so that we can handle this here and now.
So this episode you were saying that cheating respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's one of the few.
Okay, let me explain this to you. Considering the current state of our society, the current state in which a lot of people in a lot of different societies are going through, in the sense that, you have more and more people that are going into infidelity. And, it's a lot of guys that are doing it. And, women will always continue coming out to complain about it. And they'll still be the same person and it'll be a back and forth fight. I figured, you know what? How about we solve this by actually creating a middle ground? Like, this guy is probably gonna do it. You don't know who it's with. So, if you can allow him to do it, but in a manner that is respectful, that does not disrespect you and the house that the both of you live in, that does not reflect onto the kids, and it's something that he can go do for his own casual bits, because he's clearly doing it for, shits and giggles, and it's just for a laugh and all. Instead of you having to fight with him over that and he's not taking it seriously because he still loves you, let him continue doing that. But as long as you don't know who it is and you know that they're being safe and it's not happening in a place that would actually shed a bad light on you, then, it seems like a pretty good compromise if you think about it that way.
No, I doubt. Because I'll give it points. First of all, there's something called conforming. And when you are in a position whereby you conform to things, easily, it means you are rendered powerless. Personally, I love power. Power is a lot of things. Like it gives you a lot of
What, the
opportunities.
series?
No, as in power, the actual thing, the actual sense of power.
Oh, okay.
Number two, I think sex is something really deep. Miss, I would not appreciate a man coming with all those spirits and soul ties and then coming to me and smashing me and having me connected to these other people that I did not consent to. You understand? It's really
But what if he's using a condom?
who's who?
Do the soul ties just go past?
Oh my god. You remind me about this person when alikuwa nasema people who have sex with condoms don't really have sex. That's
Mm-hmm.
not sex. And I'm like, what's the definition of sex? Sex is a lot of things. Like it's penetrative, it's oral. Understand?
Well, yeah, but oral sex is simply just head. Like, can you say that you lost your virginity through oral?
Let's get to the main what do you call it? You want to trap me. You want to talk about in a position whereby you can't explain myself well. I know you. As long as you've been in there, as long as you've been
Mm-hmm.
in there, you have a tie to that person.
Yes, but if you use some form of protection, I think it should assist in some way. It's like connecting a hard drive with an antivirus. The antivirus is there to protect you to some degree.
Now you're just agreeing to this
But
because it's
anyways,
convenient to you as a man.
anyways, at least we have started off knowing that we're not agreeing on
Yeah,
things.
some things you don't agree. That's why I'm happy to be here to shed some light on some matters.
So, actually, we should move it on to our topic of this episode. So, while I was online, I happened to see that a former media personality just so happened to have done this whole IG live, and it was about men being open and vulnerable. And it's been this whole thing where she was busy talking to some psychologists and different people about, men saying that women leave the moment that they're open and vulnerable, therefore they'd rather lie or hold back the truth. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, she went into some lessons that she got from the entire thing, and I have a bit of a problem with some of them. So I'm just going to read the ones that are here, and then we can kind of break them down. So the first lesson is men, ask yourselves what your expectations are when you're sharing. If you're using reactive vulnerability because you were left last time for not being open because you fear someone else sharing and not because you have not dealt with or dealing with your vulnerability, she will read it. 2. How the info is received is either accepted or rejected is not for you to question or to get upset about. Everyone is entitled to their choice. Number 3. You must show that you have a working plan for your triggers, have set boundaries, and have some form of accountability. So, now that I've laid those out, let's talk about guys being vulnerable because I have a huge issue with this.
I think it should be normalized. You know, the thing is,
Mm-hmm.
personally, as a girl, I'm not used to having a man actually show me that he can be human in his at the fullest potential. Like I'm used to seeing guys acting like they're so unhurt, so unaffected. So sometimes nikiona Charlie and I react, I'm like, wow. So you actually can cry. I remember the first time I saw a guy cry, I was confused. I've never been so confused because I didn't know, should I hug him, should I go? But I hugged him because like he really needed some comfort. But the thing is, I don't think being vulnerable is weak. It is what you do in your vulnerability that makes you weak. Understand?
Okay, okay. Interesting thoughts. Interesting thoughts. Personally, I think that vulnerability and being open is good, but I just don't think that people should normalize it to the point where people are being publicly open about it.
Yeah,
Because
okay, yeah.
when you think about it, when you see a guy crying, yes, it doesn't make them weak. But if you're going to break down and be emotional at a certain point, and it's not that devastating of a situation, like personally, I usually say, not unless if it's like a very, very bad death in like the family or close to you that affects you to a certain level, I don't see why it is that you're crying in public. Like, go and do that shit in a corner somewhere where it's dark, where no one will see you. Like, that's how I've always thought about it. Because I think guys are vulnerable, guys are open, but because of the fact that we have to be responsible for a lot. We're held accountable for too many things, and especially nowadays with like feminism and guys being expected to handle so much, we're being expected to be responsible and be accountable for even more. You have to learn to at least take yourself somewhere private so that you can kind of, just go and de-stress and then come back when you're seeming very normal. That way it'll be easier for you to handle things, and it'll make it a lot harder for you to seem like you're easy to manipulate. Now, my issue with babes saying that, oh, we want this whole thing with guys being vulnerable to be normalized. Personally, I think it's because women on like a natural level, like to the point of like your DNA, you guys are nurturers. So if you see a guy crying, it's like your nurturing side comes in, because like a lot of y'all intend on being mothers, and being a nurturer means that you'll have to care at some point.
Yeah.
You see somebody cry, you're obviously gonna want to give them a hug, right? And
Mm-hmm.
well, you will want to give them a hug. Now, the problem with that is, if guys are continuously doing this, it will kind of warrant the whole idea of, oh, he needs a hug, he definitely needs someone to talk to. But at the end of the day, you're not exactly solving the issue. Men are solution based people, and if we're not working on solutions or taking some time off to like regroup and organize our thoughts, then it's very, very hard to start saying that, what, I'll just sit down and cry. Personally, I don't think that's what guys should be doing, but sometimes I do understand why, it's okay to pull back, regroup, probably let the emotion out and go.
When you open up to a lady, what do you usually expect as a man? Let's be specific in this, because nimekuwa around Twitter. A guy is in pain
Mhm.
or opening up, and then boom, all ladies have to offer is sex. Or atiwa sautadu. Like, what do you guys usually expect?
Okay, first of all, I rarely ever open up to women. Not in a bad way. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying this to sound sexist or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah.
I just hardly ever do, because by the time I'm opening up to somebody, I'm usually having some form of expectation. Sometimes it's the confidence, which, let's be honest, a lot of babes aren't very good at keeping secrets, not unless if it's, between other babes. Sometimes I'm looking for somebody who can comfort me and possibly help me out in terms of advice or a solution. So by the time I'm opening up to somebody, be it male, be it female, I'm expecting something. If I'm just opening up to a babe, then I must be at a point where she's the only person I feel I can talk to. And I am expecting some form of a solution from her, which rarely ever is the case.
Okay, so let's go back. When you open up, you want to hug and all that. I agree with you, baby. There's a time when the hug is appropriate, but when this guy normalizes always complaining about something, it gets annoying because he's expecting me to mother him. And honestly,
Exactly.
I don't have time for that. I don't have time to sit down and every single day mother this guy. I'm 20 something, so I don't even have a child, but I'm this man. It's a man child. Oh my god, that is so painful. But yeah, that's
Exactly.
a man child. But do you know when you open up, it makes someone actually understand your point of view. But isikwe ati something you do every single day, it gets annoying. Personally, as Shapiru, I usually have this tendency of intolerance, even to my fellow girlfriends. Like
Mm,
when you are always in distress, always. Unaona tu mse amekutext hi, unaona shit, that's distress. That's going to be an issue. I just purposely ignore because I also have my
mhm.
thing going on. So when I am constantly put in a position whereby I'm mothering someone else, I really feel like I'm being used and wasted.
Okay. I understand. I totally
That's
understand.
why as you open up, Julie, am I opening up to someone who's able to take what I'm opening up about? Ama, is this person like in a position whereby they can listen to my issues? And another thing, how many times am I complaining about this issue? And before I complain about it, have I checked all the solutions so that I can be rendered helpless?
Ladies, I hope you're listening.
Yeah, me to all ladies, to all men. Mimi as long as umekaa chini ukaangalia hii situation ukaona bedha I'm helpless as hell. That's when you can actually go looking for help. But ukikaa chini ati, oh my god, sijui nini, mi uchoka, I get annoyed. I don't know, that's a thing in me. I'm not really a mother by nature, so I don't know, just withdraw.
All right.
Yeah,
I understand. I understand. And this is why I will say you just don't open up to everyone and anyone,
exactly.
and you don't just do it just like that. Like, have a plan for it at least. Although, actually, considering that you have mentioned the whole being intolerant,
Yes.
one of those lessons actually stuck out for me. It's where it says, how the info is received and either accepted or rejected is not for you to question or get upset about. Everyone is entitled to their choice. Now, this is where I usually have an issue with a lot of what people say and a lot of what people do after that. Because a lot of times when you're being told about some lady opening up to a guy and the guy acting a certain way, usually ladies like to come up and say, oh, he was just supposed to listen. Oh, I didn't want your opinion on this. Oh, I didn't want you to say blah, blah, blah. Why are you taking it like this? Why can't you just listen? Yet, in this very exact lesson, now I'm being told as a guy that how the info that I open up about is received and either accepted or rejected is not really for me to start questioning or to get upset about. So if I tell somebody something private and then they decide to let loose on me and make noise at my face, how exactly am I supposed to not question and just sit and take all of it? Yet the babes have clearly been told that in this case, he should just sit and listen. As in, what?
It's so funny. First, okay, I'll tell you. Mi nakwambianga vitu based on how I see things, so that mtu akidisagree na mimi asinirukie ati, oh, not all. Personally, I understand that men
Mm.
have solutions. Like men, you are wired to have solutions. You are mostly on the logical side of things. I'm not saying you're the wisest, but you are wired to be on that part. And sissy, we are emotional, us as ladies. And I think, yes, you should seriously question whether you should really question, because if someone is feeling a certain way about you opening up, ni kama nikwambie, I underwent racism, this, and then you just tell me you should get on with it. You understand? I should question you. Why mbona unaniambia ni get on with it? Are you like trying to invalidate my experience? As a female, I understand kuna time when I am feeling emotional. I want you to listen. It's true. And I know men mnakwanga na ka itching urge kakupeana solution your story die. And it's okay. But the thing is, you should be able to read the room. Like, is this person trying to vent, or are they trying to look for advice and solutions? That's how you should be specific on how you talk about things. Nikikuja kwako nikwambie, hey Denver, I really need to let something out of my system, nikwambie, you should listen. But when someone tells you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what's your take on this? That's when you come up with that, come in with your solutions and your opinions. I think people should be deliberate in communication actually.
Okay, now the problem with that is that's only about 10% of how conversations will start. And the other 90% is someone just saying, so imagine, or so Mina, let me tell you, or some other phrase that they'll use to start. And then people will just talk and talk and talk.
Yeah.
And yes, I do understand the whole idea that you're bringing in of, sometimes you want a solution, sometimes you just want to be listened to. But my question is, can ladies, for the first time, or at least for one of the few times in their lives,
Wow.
actually consider
I'm
that
terrified.
sometimes we might actually. No, I'm not going to be brutal on this one.
Okay.
I'm simply asking,
Yeah.
can ladies at least ask those same questions to us guys whenever we choose to vent? If we're going to be vulnerable around women, which something I'm still not entirely open to, but I believe that different guys will be open to it,
Yeah.
can you guys also ask that same question that you are talking about? You go and you ask them, okay, do you want me to just listen or do you want me to give you a solution? Because I've heard time and time again, somebody has gone, they've opened up to this other person, then all of a sudden they're just being asked, so now what do you want me to do about it? I guess with guys, they do feel invalidated by such things at the same time. So it is fairly common for some of those same guys to actually, bend over and go onto whatever vices it is that they've been trying to avoid. So as we come to the end of this, I want you to give your final words.
Okay, so Mercy. First of all, ladies, sex is not the answer to everything, and
Yes.
I really advise, like, don't don't allow an angry man to have sex with you. I tell you, this. Do you know? Okay, like Denver, you guys are really strong. Like, so I'm trying to imagine how this person is angry, and then boom, you are willing to just have sex with this person. That sex will be frustration release. Na unaweza umia in the process uanze kusema oh he raped me, I felt so assaulted. Sometimes pia unafaa kuangalia hiyo situation. I don't really encourage angry sex. I really discourage by the way. It's not going to be enjoyable. Maybe people enjoy hardcore things, but I don't advocate. Number two, when someone is talking, you're supposed to actually listen, because people are so quick to respond. Mtu amekwambia kitu and then boom, out of the blue you're asking questions and this person just wants you to understand. Sometimes it's best that you keep quiet and try to internalize what you're being told, because things are usually deeper than what they seem. Yeah, and let's be mindful of how we respond to people's vulnerabilities. Yeah.
All right. All right. Personally, since you've taken up most of the time, um
Wale.
all right, personally speaking, I think people should be okay with opening up, but just remember that you shouldn't open up to everyone. But the people that you are going to open up to, also be mindful of the possibility of, the reaction that's there. And regardless of gender, if someone's opening up to you, always inquire if they'd like a solution or if they just want to be listened to.
Amen.
That way, it should keep you out of a lot of trouble.
Mhm.
Anyways, that being said, thank you so much for listening all the way till the end. And thank you so much, Shapiru, for being a part of the podcast. If you have any thoughts, comments, or feedback, feel free to drop them off in the DMs at Breaktime on Westside. On IG is the handle to reach us on. On Facebook, it is also at Breaktime on Westside. And on Twitter, you can slide into my personal DMs at Bagaka the D. If you are listening on Castbox, feel free to drop your thoughts and comments below, and I will attend to them accordingly. Battle of the Sexes and Tweet Street resumes next week from Tuesday and Friday, so make sure you stay tuned for that, and I will catch you guys on the next break. Take care.